Hello, it's Rain, and today I'm just gonna be digging in my scraps to see what art I can make out of it. I gotta warn you, I sound pretty depressed at the start of this video, and it's just because I've been having a lot of issues with my medicine. I think this video took a month to make, not because it was difficult necessarily, but just because there's been a lot going on in life. One thing I've started since my first video on here is making usage of scraps. I've been collecting scraps either from packaging, ones from my old graphic design assignments, or anything unused. Right now, the pink scraps that I'm putting down are from, actually, a 𝘀𝗰𝗿𝗀𝗽𝗀 blind box. This was the blind box that I'm talking about. Guess which one I got? If you said this, then you're correct. I showed up to Miniso and was on a hangout with my friend, and I wanted to get something, and this is what I got. And I thought it'd be like 16 bucks, but they were like, this is $21, please. And I was like, 21? But I paid for that shit anyway. The box design is very nice. There's 𝘰𝗰𝗶𝘁𝗁. He's always watching. I'm so tired, bro. I've been having medical issues, and it's so freaking exhausting. Maybe I'm being a bit too TMI, but I mean, this is my video, so yeah, I'm just gluing down the pieces of the 𝘰𝗰𝗶𝘁𝗁 blind box. I like putting them up on my wall, and the rest of the box, I like to just cut them up and save them for later. This was the back of the box that I just smacked right on there. I honestly really like the pink shade, I think it's quite cute. And there's a scrap that I had from making the cover of my journal, which is from video 1 of this channel. Now I'm using that remainder part that I cut off to put it on the left side of the page. Here's a piece of color aid paper, which I honestly despised because I had to use it to graphic design, but it has a matte surface, but it would scratch so easily. I was like, you're requiring this perfection from me, and this is how I'm supposed to do it? What the hell? But yeah, that's clear sticker paper that I'm putting on top, and it's supposed to act like a vacuum seal and provide an extra layer. And then right now I'm gluing down another graphic design scrap sheet. This was one of the earliest lessons that we did, and one thing I didn't realize, which I should have, is that this is antique Mod Podge, so it dries out all yellowish, which isn't what I was going for, so I did have to cover this up. Especially the left part. The right part, it doesn't show much because there's something underneath it already, but the left part, it looks quite yellow, as if I peed on it. Frankly, my design professor really liked this design that I had going on, and I couldn't get what exactly about it she loved so much, but I mean, I'm glad she did. But to me, I just made fuck-ass shapes, and we were all just putting it on the wall, staring at about 20 versions of fuck-ass shapes. Here I'm coming in with my Miniso receipt, just slathering the glue down. But back to graphic design, I don't think I had a clue on what the fuck I was actually supposed to be doing until graphic design 2 came along. So for the first class, I feel like I was bullshitting and guessing most of the time. This was before I bought any glue tape that rolls out like whiteout tape, so I had to use a brush and hand glue everything down. Hey, okay, now it's getting interesting. So we're coming in with some contrasting colors. I'm using bright yellow acrylic marker on the color 8 paper, and I'm just drawing a star, and I don't really have a concrete plan. I just had a vague inspo, which was the YouTuber 𝘀𝗰𝗿𝗶𝗁𝗍, Pikarar, and she does these cute spreadsheets and sometimes puts random wrappers inside her paper or her sketchbooks, which she makes herself, by the way, which is pretty cool. And she draws over it with acrylic pen. She also does it with inked, what is it called? Like inked pen as well. And fountain pens. She does it with fountain pens, and you'll see me do that later as well. And I drew what is I'm a fan of rodents, and I drew what looks like a quokka, and there's like a cat with a man face at the bottom. I also added legs to the Miniso icon, and well, now it's covered, but there was a fish. There it is. There's a fish behind the quokka. The paper I'm using right now, technically it has been reused 3 times. On the back of it, it was actually a misprint that I did for my friend's 17th birthday back when we were in high school. And then the front of it is actually, I guess technically it would be the back, but it was printed out words that I used for a study guide. And then I had it on fancy paper, so it felt like a waste to throw it away. So I just drew blocks of color on top, and then I decided to use it on here and draw on top of it again. And here I'm using a Home Goods price tag, and you can see that I actually have a tape roller this time, so I'm not using glue and brushes by hand. That page I just flipped over to also used that same birthday misprint for my friend, and I'm gonna have another video on that specific layout. So I mentioned how 𝘀𝗰𝗿𝗍𝗀 was an inspiration for me, and she likes to draw these Shiba Inus, and I didn't want to like full-on copy her, so I just made a 4-legged ambiguous creature. I usually don't draw the legs like that. I like drawing them stubby, but I thought, actually I didn't think, I just let my hand do the work, and it was like, let's do some wavy legs. And I've been watching clips of the video game Peak lately, and I think it's about like essentially Girl Scouts or Boy Scouts characters that are stranded after a disaster, and it's a survival, I believe, horror based on the Steam tag, but I'm actually willing to play it because it doesn't look scary. I'm a big wuss when it comes to scary games, or anything scary really. Sorry about the blip noise, that was actually a Domino's notification I had. It's kind of creepy how personal they talk to me. Like right now the notification says, "You don't really want to make dinner tonight, do you?" With like staring emojis. Leave me alone, man. But yeah, I'm drawing more critters, and that dude was he reminded me of like a floppy disk or an SD card, but I didn't like his face, so I eventually just covered him up. And the Boy Scout was gonna be a tomato head, but I changed it to a persimmon because of the orange paint that I ended up using, or paint marker that is. I didn't specify how much 𝘀𝗰𝗿𝗍𝗀's like interest in calligraphy pens or fountain pens have given me an interest. Like I definitely want to explore that more once I get a job, because I'm jobless right now. But anyways, yeah, I don't think the composition really makes sense, but I think that's completely okay, given that this isn't for school or something serious where I need to be graded on. It's a creative outlet for me, and I'm using this white Sharpie marker that I like. You have to press on it a little for it to actually come out, but the lighting just got better. Thank goodness. I tried to draw a bold white creature on here on top of this orange blob before I decided to just completely cover it up. Ooh, and look at these. These are different shapes from Westcott. Different shaped hole punchers. I used a hole puncher to punch out a blind box that was from the Emma series, and I made a flower in the corner. And then I used that same piece, cut it up, and then used it to entirely cover that orange blob and create a new form through that hole. And then I created a heart and I put it in between them. And what shape is that? Oh, it's a star. I used a star from using the Home Goods price tag.
And then I painted the heart red.
Before I continue, I wanted to mention that the first fountain pen I ever got was recently the 𝘀𝗰𝗿𝗽𝗀 pen by Pilot, and I got more interested in wider nibbed fountain pens because I think 𝘀𝗰𝗿𝗽𝗀 uses some like fatter nibbed ones, so I got this calligraphy set from Statler, and I just got it from Office Depot for about like $30-ish. I mentioned how I was broke and jobless, and so once that's fixed, hopefully I can dabble in some cooler shimmer inks that she has on her channel, because I would really like to play with that. And the clip corners of this Home Goods price tag made me realize I can paint over it and turn it into a home. So here I'm just layering down some browns and just trying to make a warm colored little brick house. It's very abstract, so I didn't really draw bricks or anything of that sort, and I was kind of wondering what to do with the placement, and you'll see what I do with it later. But then, yup, there it is. I sort of made it a door entryway into the piece I have below, and oh my god, what is, that is, okay. That threw me off. I hate the Live 360 notification sound. Screw it, we're off topic, but do any of you guys have Live 360? Do any of you enjoy that sound? Because I think it's the most grating, agitating sound ever.
So back to my piece. Yes, I draw more little critters that are in the bottom left that are cropped out at the moment. I put welcome critters. I even made a doorway for them, 2 doors in fact, and I drew some plant decals, and I added flowers, very nice, pink and blue. I tried to tape down that middle part over there. Those were my abstract bricks. They were supposed to indicate brick patterns. I don't know why my nose is getting stuffed.
I gave Mr. Tomato Scout Persimmon Scout an eye patch. And then I gave him some outlines. I added more details and created emphasis, like that man-faced cat. And then I added some sparkles. Sparkles add so much. That's my favorite. Then I come in with another blind box and create a heart. And this is what it looks like chronologically if you open my sketchbook. Yeah, these pages aren't done. Yippee! That was thunder, but it sounded so nice that I just kept it in. Anyways, thank you for watching my video, and I hope to see you in another video.